First thing to understand about positional play is actually where is the object ball going in the pocket, because that makes a difference and determines where the cue ball actually ends up. On this straight pot in the middle, if I play the pot to the left hand side of the pocket, right hand side as you're looking at it, then the cue ball goes off to the side. Similarly, if I play the pot into the, just using a marker ball here to make it easier to place the cue ball in the same position every time. And there you saw the red went slightly into the side of the pocket, so the cue ball went slightly to that side of the pocket. So depending on how close your object ball is to centre pocket determines the reliability of your positional result. And the second rule is to never pinch the pocket unless you have a very good reason. Pinching the pocket means aiming the object ball to one side of the pocket or the other. Because you don't know which side of the pocket you're going to make a mistake to, if you aim to one side of the pocket, your effective pocket becomes much, much smaller. So the mistake most club players make is they're playing to pinch the pocket maybe 5-10 times more than professionals do, because they just assume, oh, that's how I get positional play. But as we'll see in subsequent videos, that doesn't actually help. So the default setting is play centre pocket on everything. There are exceptions, but as a default, play centre pocket in everything and notice where your object ball goes, so you can improve your diagnosis of positional play errors by including the object ball destination in your list of reasons of why the cue ball has gone where. On the previous shot we were playing top spin or +4 on the cue ball with no side spin, and as expected, when the object ball goes in the centre of the pocket, the white ball follows. But what would happen if, for example, I played still top spin but right number 4 all the way over here? Where would the cue ball go then? I can't really play down here because I have a stun effect on the cue ball, so I want the top spin effect. But where would the cue ball go if I played over here? Have a think about that while I'm getting down to play it. And the most important thing is watch where the object ball goes in the pocket, because if it goes to the side of the pocket, that affects where the cue ball goes. We won't get a clean result, and if we go dead centre, then we get a clean result of where the cue ball really does want to go with top spin and side. That's also my way of building in an excuse in advance for not being able to pot a ball in the centre of the pocket when I'm using with side. So I have less pressure now. So I did pretty well there first time. So you can see that the cue ball still follows the object ball. So why is that? Why doesn't the cue ball go off to the side? Most players who I ask this, they'll say the cue ball will go here. Usually they'll say, with top spin, if you hit centre pocket, the cue ball will go anywhere between here and here. That's probably 90% of players will say that. And then 9% of the other players will say anywhere over here, all the way to the bolt pocket, or maybe even go off at 90 degrees. And usually 1%, usually it's the engineers or mathematicians or scientists who will say, yeah, the white will just follow the ball into the pocket. So why doesn't the cue ball reflect as much as we think when we play top spin with side? Well, what you've got to remember is the contact between the balls is very quick, very small, and very smooth as well. So there's very little friction, so the effect of the white on the object ball is any directional effect is almost indistinguishable, almost insignificant. And compared to a cushion, let's say, where there's a big contact with much more friction and much more time because it compresses and pushes the white off, you can see there that it will readily change the direction of the cushion if we play side spin on the cushion. So this is the biggest lesson. This is probably 50% of positional play. Understanding that you cannot deviate the cue ball path off dead straight, off straight forward or straight back. No matter how much side you apply to the cue ball, it's futile to try to get the white ball off that centre line. So you're stuck with going straight forward or straight back. And the reaction of most club players to that is, well, I'll just pinch the pocket to get the cue ball to move. No, you won't. Play centre pocket, restrict yourself to that and limit yourself to going straight back and straight forward with the cue ball, and just accept that you're somewhat out of position.